Dave DeBow back at you. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the investor goldmine, how to find your ideal investors and skyrocket your portfolio. So if you're a real estate investor, sooner or later, you're going to run out of cash and credit to do more deals, and you need to bring on either private investors or joint venture partners. The question is, where are they? Who are they? How do we attract them to us? How do we engage them? How do we get them enrolled in our deals? Well, that's what we're going to be talking about here today is who are your ideal investor prospects and exactly where to find them and what to do with them. So stay tuned. So lots of other real estate investors, just like myself back in the day, we self-finance our first few couple of deals and then we run out of cash, we run out of credit, and you got a couple of choices. You can stay stuck and do onesie, twosie deals every year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, however long it takes you to save up that down payment. Or you can start focusing on other people's money, bringing on joint venture partners, bringing on private lenders, bringing on private investors. And that's what we're talking about here today. But the question is, who and how do we do this? So what I'm going to recommend is that for your first investors or joint venture partners, we really focus on your existing network, your existing connections, friends, family members, co-workers, business associates, people that you know from church or civic organizations, people that you have a pre-existing relationship with. You know them and they know you. Now, why is this so important? For a couple of reasons. Number one is just logic. I mean, let's think about it. If you're just getting started working with other people's money, who else is going to invest with you, right? Quite frankly, you need to work with people that you already know, right? Because for somebody to invest 50, 75, 100,000 with you, chances are that person is going to need to know you, like you, and trust you with their money. When we go after these people that we already know, we already like, and there's already some trust in there, our chances of success go up exponentially. So this is the easiest capital to go after. It's also the fastest capital to go after because, again, because we've got that pre-existing relationship, if you have a big enough pool of investor prospects to start with, there are some that are going to be ready to go sooner rather than later. So it's the fastest source of capital as well. Third thing is it's the safest source of capital, especially when we're first getting going. Why is this? Because if you're in North America, if you're in the United States, you've got this thing called the Securities and Exchange Commission. You've got state regulatory authorities as well. In Canada, we got the same thing, but each province has its own regulatory authority. And pretty much all of them say that it is illegal under most circumstances for you and I as mom and pop real estate investors to raise capital from the general public unless we have a substantial pre-existing relationship with people, or we're dealing with accredited investors, or we go through all the expense and red tape and whatnot to get set up with an offering memorandum and certain corporate structures and that sort of thing. So for most of us doing single family homes, small multifamilies, flips, burrs, etc., getting started bringing on a joint venture partner who is somebody from within our sphere is just the easiest, fastest, and safest way to get started. So that's why I'm going to recommend that we focus on our existing network. So then the question becomes, okay, so what does that look like? How do I do that? Well, there are a couple of different steps with that, so let's take a look at each one of those. So the first thing that you want to do is you want to come up with a target group of your ideal investor prospects. And the size of this group, I'm going to recommend if you're doing this by yourself, you shoot for a target group of somewhere between 150 to 200 people. If you're working with a spouse or a business partner, then shoot for having 300 people on your target group of investor prospects. I might be saying, well, Dave, I don't know 150 or 200 or 300 people. How the heck am I supposed to come up with this group of people? Well, chances are, yes, you actually do know a lot more people than you think of, than you think you do. So here's the big trick. Instead of trying to think up 150, 200, 300 names, what we're going to do is we're going to do a data dump of all of your contacts and then whittle it down to a list of about 150 to 300 names. Okay, so how do we do that? Well, the first thing you want to do is you want to take your cell phone and go into your contacts and export all of your contacts from your cell phone and get them into an Excel spreadsheet. Then do the same thing with all of your email contacts. If you've got a Gmail address, export all of your Gmail contacts into that spreadsheet. If you got a Hotmail address, if you still have that, it's the same idea. Export all your contacts out of there. Whatever email address or addresses you have, get them out of there, get them into that spreadsheet. Don't worry about thinking about who you have relationships with, who you don't, who you know, who you don't know. Just do a data dump, get them all in there. All right, so now we got the cell phone, now we got the email addresses. Get all your social media contacts in there as well. So if you're on Facebook or LinkedIn or Instagram, or my God, there's a new social media platform popping up every week, it seems like. Whatever your flavor is that you focus on, export all your contacts out of there, and that's right. Get them into that Excel spreadsheet. So now, chances are you've got this huge list of 1,000, 1,500, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 people or more. And what you want to do there is just do a merge, purge, and deduplicate, clean that sucker up, and then you're going to have this big, big list of names and contact information. Go through that very, very quickly. And quite frankly, when we do this with clients, it only takes about 45 minutes. And then here's the big trick. When you see a name, if a face pops into your mind, into your mind's eye, and you like that person, you got a generally positive feeling towards that person, keep them. So you go through that list, you see a name, have no clue who that person is, delete. Delete, 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 keep. Delete, 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 keep. Delete, 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 keep. You see what I mean? So you're going to whittle it down from a couple of thousand people to a couple of hundred people. And that is the core group that we're going to start with, that we're going to focus all of our efforts on. Because here's the thing. This is the foundation of this entire money partner formula process that we're going over the next few videos. This is the cornerstone. This is what everything's based on, is having a good target group of people. Again, these are folks that you already have that pre-existing relationship with. You know them and they know you. You like them and they like you. There is some trust already in there. This is the easiest, safest, and fastest capital for you to go over. All right, so you probably say, well, Dave, now what do I do? So I've got this list of a couple hundred people. What do I do with them? Well, what you want to do is you want to get that into some sort of an email autoresponder system or a CRM, customer relationship management type system, so that we can communicate with these people on an effective and an efficient manner. So get all of those contacts, put them into that kind of a program, and now you are ready and you are prepared and you're ready to go with the next step in the whole process once we get our foundation in place. So again, this is kind of a big picture overview of how to find your ideal investor partners. This is step one of our foundation phase of the money partner formula. Make sure I'm all in the frame here. So this is creating that ideal target market. So this is the first part of the foundation. Everything else is based upon that. Then we'll look at the other parts of the foundation as well, and then we'll get ready to go with the marketing side of things. Now, I've got a great example of this with one of our more recent clients. His name is Pete Schnepp, and Pete is a very, very successful entrepreneur, not just a real estate investor, but he is self-employed as well. And Pete's been self-financing his real estate investments for, I think close to 20 years now. He's built up a pretty significant portfolio, but he really wants to kick it up to the next level. Now, Pete's challenge was that he was the best kept secret amongst all of his business contacts. In fact, I think he has 2 or 3 different businesses, but they just know him from within that kind of category. I think he's got a home painting business. That's his main thing. So all of those clients know him as the home painter guy. They don't know him as a real estate investor. Now, by getting all of these contacts from his business connections and his personal connections and his recreational connections, all these people he has that pre-existing relationship with, now Pete is ready to really hit the ground running with the next steps in this whole process. In fact, he did, and right off the get-go, doing what we call the Connection Resurrection campaign, he was able to generate some massive interest in his real estate investing. And he had a lot of people reaching out and say, hey, Pete, I had no idea that you were a real estate investor, even though he'd been doing it for over 20 years. So you're going to see some really amazing results when you create this target group that we're going to laser focus in on. All right, are you looking for a shortcut to make all of this happen? Then check out my book, Money Partner Formula. You can get a copy at investorattractionbook.com or scroll down and hit on the link in the description below. This is my entire process, including all 3 of our phases, the foundation phase, launch phase, and the leverage phase, and each one of the steps that we're going over in these videos. We cover all of that with examples in the book. So go ahead and grab your copy today.